G'day everyone and welcome to Two Cousins One Chat. I'm Ben.
And hello to you, I'm Christy. Thanks so much for joining us. Today we're bringing you a special episode of the podcast to discuss the recent bushfires in the Nil, Dimboola and Wimmera regions. And today we have a very special guest joining us. Today we are pleased to have Monica Revel, the Chief Executive Officer of the Hindmarsh Shire Council, with us to discuss these recent bushfires. Hello, Monica, and thank you for taking the time to speak with us.
Good afternoon, Christy and Ben.
Thanks for coming along, Monica. I'd love to start by asking you, the fires have obviously had a big impact on the Wimmera region. Can you share with us the scale of the damage and how the local community is coping in the aftermath?
It's been a huge fire. There's no doubt about that one. 24 hours and it was about 70,000 hectares in total. And I think if people understand the Little Desert, there's three sections. So there's the west, the central block and the eastern block. You can pretty much say all of the central block and the eastern block have been destroyed by the fire. So it's absolutely devastating for our community.
And the Little Desert Nature Lodge was lost to the fires as well?
Yes, so an absolutely devastating impact of the fire was the loss of the Little Desert Nature Lodge.
And how have you found the local community is coping? It has a big impact. It would be a big talking point in the areas, no doubt. What's been your experience in talking to the community about all of this?
Council's been providing a lot of support with relief in the initial stages, and now we're in the recovery phase. So we are liaising with a lot of community members. What we're seeing is that on reflection, a lot of them are realising how quick they needed to act because the fire was so fast just with the wind that was pushing it on. So we'll continue to provide support to our community for many months to come.
In good news, the National Park has reopened to visitors recently, is that correct?
Yes, so it's worthwhile having a look to see the impact, but people do need to be aware that there's still dangerous trees out there. So if they are going out into the Little Desert to have a look, just be very cautious of where you're entering.
Yeah, absolutely. And Monica, the fires have also taken a toll on the local wildlife. Can you speak to us on the impact on the wildlife populations in the area and any efforts in place to assess and support their recovery?
Agriculture Victoria has been undertaking assessments on the impact of the wildlife from the Little Desert bushfire, and we understand the impact has meant that a lot of the native flora and fauna has been severely impacted, and this has also resulted in a lot of native species no longer having protection from predators. Hindmarsh Shire Council has been helping to spread the word for Parks Victoria. They've put a call out to community members who may have roofing tiles that they're happy to donate so that Parks Victoria staff can create small shelters for the wildlife that no longer has protection from the scrub that would have previously been in the Little Desert. If anyone's listening and they do have any roofing tiles that they're happy to drop off, Parks Victoria Whale office are looking for the tiles and the staff will place them across the Little Desert landscape.
I think I actually saw that on Facebook. There was a call out for roof tiles. I think we may have reshared it on our social pages as well, but that's a great initiative. Monica, what are some of the recovery efforts currently underway in the district, and what kind of support is the Hindmarsh Shire Council providing to both residents and businesses affected by the fires?
Thanks, Christy. Initially, we provided relief to our affected residents. So on the evening of Monday, the 27th of January, we opened a relief centre in Horsham with our neighbouring council, Horsham Rural City Council, and we saw approximately 250 people come through the relief centre over the 24 hours that it was open. Once the relief centre was closed, council opened a recovery centre in Dimboola on the 29th of January, and the recovery centre was there to provide information for community members. We also had representatives from various agencies, including DFFH. Uniting was also there in attendance to talk to people who may not have been feeling their usual self. We've now scaled down the recovery centre, but we do still have the information available at our Dimboola library for people to pop in, and also at our Nil customer service centre. People can pop in at any of our business hours, have a chat to our staff. We're still looking to hear from community members who may have been impacted with fencing damage, because we're working quite closely with Blaze Aid, who are a not-for-profit volunteer organisation, and they're there to assist our community with, it might be removal of fencing, it may be repairs of fencing or replacement of fencing. And we have been working very closely with the managers of the Little Desert Lodge and the owner, who have, of course, lost that significant asset that was there, and also the gentleman who lost his property at Jurang. But our recovery efforts will be ongoing for quite some time, working with our community.
Yeah, it always amazes me how quickly communities mobilize when something like this happens. And it's incredible. It just seems to be that, everyone gets together and does the right things. It usually feels like a really measured approach. It's just the right things at the right time. And it sounds like you've evolved the support as the situation evolves. So I guess you have to be really adaptive as a CEO of the council, but also the councillors and all the staff and the communities. It's quite impressive to hear you speak and hear how adaptive you've all been to respond and support the community.
I think that's the benefit of rural communities. In times of need, people they come together, they put their hand up, and they're there to help and support community.
Yeah, it's great. Now, the Economic Impact Survey, we know a little bit. It's a great initiative by the local government, if we understand correctly, to gauge the impact on the local community. Can you tell us a little bit more about this?
Thanks, Ben. We are keen to hear the economic impact from the Little Desert bushfire, not just for businesses directly affected by the evacuation in Timbula, but also from nil businesses, because you may not be aware the highway was closed for 24 hours, which meant that through traffic that would usually stop at our nil businesses was not going through for that 24-hour period. So we're sure that had a significant impact, and we're wanting to gather the data just to assist us to build a comprehensive understanding of the impact, because that will then assist to inform and advocate target actions to address both immediate and then longer term recovery for our community. We are preparing an initial report on the immediate impacts, and then we'll be looking to gather further information in a couple of months' time to determine any flow-on impacts that the bushfires may have had to our community.
And looking ahead, Monica, maybe you could just list some of the key priorities for the Hindmarsh Shire Council to help the community recover. And what are they?
Yes, so we'll continue with our recovery centres. I think it's important for people to know that we are here to support them. We're hosting a community thank you concert in Dimboola at the Sound Shell on the 29th of March. And this is an opportunity for our whole community to come together to thank the CFA, to thank Parks Victoria, DECA, and other emergency services who assisted with the fire. The event will have a barbecue, food trucks, and live music. We're also working closely with Blaze Aid to assist, as I said, with the fencing repairs and removal and installation of new fencing, because we're aware that there is a significant number of our farmers who border the Little Desert and who have sustained damage from the bushfire. We're also continuing to work closely with those directly affected, so the Little Desert Nature Lodge, the resident at Jurang.
Wow. It suddenly occurred to me that, of course, Monica, you would know most, if not all, the people that have been affected. So that's another element to these sorts of disasters when they affect smaller communities, is that you've got your role as the CEO, and you've got your official role, but it must be hard sometimes to separate how you're feeling as an individual versus what you have to do in your role.
Certainly in the relief centre, I was one of the staff members that stayed all night because we had a number of people that did sleep at the relief centre, but they had animals and they didn't want to leave them. And just talking to the people as they came through the relief centre that were quite traumatised, I think I just had to forget about what may have been happening at my house and just concentrate on the role that we had at hand. And yes, there's times where it's hard, but I think that we're such a fantastic community and there's so many people to talk to. I think it's really important as well that people look out for their friends, their family, because they may not be feeling okay in a couple of weeks or a couple of months' time. They may be feeling fine now, but I think it's really important that we do keep an eye on our community members and our family and friends and just ask them if they're okay.
That
Absolutely.
sounds it sounds great, and the concert at the end of March sounds like a great event, and we hope it's really well attended by all the people in the local community. And of course, we're happy to share any of the media and comms that come our way. Thank you so much for your time today, Monica. We really appreciate you joining us today on Two Cousins One Chat, and it's been terrific to hear all the initiatives that are happening at the Hindmarsh Shire Council. So thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.